We are live. It is Saturday. We're going to go through a little bit of news and then take as many questions as we like, as you like, and just talk about crypto. Any questions, anything that anybody needs to learn, we'll go through. So it's the 14th of September. Next week is Breakpoint and Token 2049, which is really exciting. But let's just give it like 20 seconds or so for people to join, and then we'll just go through quick bit of news and then just question after question after question. It doesn't have to be Solana related. It can be anything. Give it a few more seconds. Hope everybody's doing well. Alrighty, I think let's dive in. So just for a little bit of a daily news, one thing I want to point out is security. Security is one of the most important things when it comes to crypto. Essentially, we want to hold on to any gains. We want to make some gains, and we want to keep them with us. So the blockchain is final. Sorry, the blockchain is final. Now, one thing that's happened is people can have a lot of malware, anything that has like write access. Ideally, you don't have anything that actually allows you to write. So this allows, it can change site data. I trust it, so I guess I have it here. But ideally, you have no extensions that can do this. And the reason for this is because people put an address and then it gets changed by the malware. So as an example, let's say that we're going to send some crypto, some mother, from one address to another address. So mother here, when you go and send it, this is one reason why I like Solflare a lot, is you can very easily see where you want to send it to, right? So we can keep it here, and then we can grab it like this, and we can go and we can paste it here. And then I want you to double check the first 4 and the last 4 characters, always. And remember, not true of all blockchains, but true of Solana. It's case sensitive. So that's why you never ever freehand type. So you always look at it like this. And you do this every single time, no matter how experienced you are. If you're sleep deprived, ideally you don't even send any crypto. You make sure you are paying attention. If you're drunk, if you've been drinking, don't go and spend $1,000 transferring some funds and then have it go wrong. So you go and do something like that. And if you want to, go and do a small test transaction. Lose $1.38 if you must. Make sure that comes through and then send the remaining amount, and you can use an address book. So that's the first bit of news. Next thing, let's just have a look at the market. So the markets have bounced up nicely. Bitcoin got up to 60K. Then we've come down a little bit, but we're doing fine. Sol was like, remember, it was 128. It's now up to 138. And this all happened when we were like 23 or so. I said, like, when things get down here, I'm not trying to predict anything, but just in terms of patterns, when it goes extreme fair, it bounces off that and prices come up, and already we're neutral, just like that. The market responds that fast, which is brilliant. Onto the Solana calendar, just quickly. Remember, bookmark this puppy. This will give you a huge amount of information all the time. So today on the 14th, Saturday, we've got a few things, job opportunities here. Devin Labs is doing some stuff. Mad Lads meet up in Madrid if you're in Spain. And as usual, stake your soul with validator.com. Next bit of news here is from Lulo. I think maybe they got inspiration potentially from Carrot. But this allows you to deposit into different platforms as long as it's a minimum deposit size of $1,000. So if there's any smart contract risk with, say, Mango Markets or Save, which used to be called Solend, then you're safe in the other one. This is a similar approach to what Carrot does. It only allocates a certain amount of money to each platform. Now, Breakpoint's going to be absolutely amazing. I'm very, very excited for it. Jack here is the co-founder, CEO and co-founder at Magic Eden, and he said he was presenting at Solana Breakpoint 2022, and now it's a multi-chain NFT platform. It's going to Monad as well, Monad, whatever you say. And it does say next week we have something new, something special news for the Solana Maxis. So I'll make sure that someone from the team is attending this talk. So if you're not there, we should be live tweeting it relatively well. Pumpdotfun, just remember, I really look forward to when all these offshoots of random rubbish meme coins piss off, because we've just seen that the major L1 assets have not performed well since they came in. And the only one that's really doing well out of this is probably like 100, 200 people that are kind of launching these tokens as a kind of a cabal, and then Pumpdotfun. There's been 92 meme coins that have with a capitalization exceeding $1 million out of 2 million coins launched on the platform. So I wanted to cover meme coins extensively, and I didn't because it was too hard and I felt we'd lose too much. That's why, I've got Bonk, Cat, Flocky, I think has a bit of upside. That's because there's proper due diligence. This one here, look, our success rate would have been so low. So I'm pleased we skipped it. One really good account to follow is CoinGecko. Go and follow them, put on notifications, because we want to see what the trend is happening. If we can see a trend happening with one thing, and if it keeps on hitting, then maybe there'll be other things in that ecosystem that hit as well. So Simon's Cat is one of those. Dogs, which is something I haven't covered, but it's a ton thing. A lot of people are actually eligible to go and claim dogs if you've been a Telegram user for quite some time. So things like that. Sui, we'll talk about Sui a little bit later as well. Next up, we've got DeFiDungeons, sorry. They're doing a pre-sale. Now, just a little bit of transparency with this. Juice is from the Longwood Labs team, building Play the Heist. And their first project was Remnants. Remnants did very well, previous cycle. Play the Heist did very well, did lots of tutorials on it. Keep in mind that like this was not sustainable tokenomics. So things just, and then in the last season, I stopped playing. I made a little bit of money early on in the game. I did a lot of tutorials. They were not sponsored, or there was no, like, very little in the way of appreciation, which is fine. There's no expectation there. But I would say overall, Play the Heist failed. It failed as a company. They shipped some cool stuff, but you have to find this balance of actually keeping your project alive. And now they're going into the next one. So here, I'll happily speak to anyone at the team at Breakpoint, whoever's there. But this could be an idea to get pre-sale on, but it's one of those things that you probably want to try and take profit if there's some hype around it, just based on the like NFTs in general, the fact that the tokenomics are not perfect, and it's like a hard thing to onboard more people to. And NFTs are just not relevant. So we'll cover it more. I want it to be on your radar for now, though. Fabiano has this point. I've made this before. But Breakpoint is a gold mine for alpha, which is why we'll be hustling there. Nissan did a 400x after their presentation last year. It was very undervalued, of course, and up it went. So Fabiano's got some eyes on W. I don't even know if Fabiano's going. Fabiano, are you going? Let me know. W lost 85% of its value, and I expect a pump, but I do not expect this to be a proper value add. Like literally, it's wonderful technology, and D-Bridge is better. So kind of sucks. Dupe, this will be a great keynote speech. I'm of course biased, but it will be a great thing. They ship so much. D-Bridge, keen to see how this is going to be here. Had someone from the D-Bridge team ping me to see if I'm going to be there. So yeah, come and chat to me. Flash Trade, they will probably have some sort of token generation event coming up soon. So I would also, if you want to trade, do some perps, worth doing. Tensor, keen to see what they can do in order to stay relevant, but not bullish on the token, but we'll see what happens. Magic Eden will dominate, I think, but have a low amount of the token. Meteora, hard platform to use, but like use Meteora. That's been my alpha for ages. We've got Bird Eye there, a few more things. So we'll keep an eye on what's happening at Breakpoint. Breakpoint itself is the largest one yet, and the ticket portal will close early on Tuesday, September 17th. Procrastinators, there may be door tickets available. So go grab them now. This is amazing to see. We're in the early stage of a bull market. It's expensive to get there and still brilliant. $500 for a ticket. Token 2049 as well. Remember, pay with USD. Seb Monty 10% off, $900. And get in all of your events now. Quickly, just to the actionables here, really quickly, and then we'll get into some questions, and we'll take as many questions as required. This is from yesterday. Join the anime waitlist. Play some stink bids on Sol, just in case we dip down there. Book tickets to Breakpoint Token 2049. Complete at least 50% of the greed lessons, and try to get a DeFi Dungeons pre-sale, or at least see if you are eligible to get one. and we'll do more research on that. Airdrop actionables, mint the Arcium NFT, mint the Coinbase BTC mint NFT, use Cube Exchange, use Berachain, and use the Soneium testnet. So that's the actionables. Let's move into all the questions and answers people have. Just ping them through here. We'll bring them up. And then I have some previously just from the week. Let's go through the first one. Where can I bookmark the Solana calendar? So this will normally be like in every description. And it looks like this. This is it. So if you see anything in the description that says Solana Calendar -crypto class, this is what it is. And then you just bookmark it, and then just everything updates, and you've got all the links you need. And if there's a cool event, like, if there's a token generation event or something that I've missed, then fill out the form. Let me know if your project or whatever. That's where that is. What else do we have? Why are we bullish on Dupe? Platform takes no fees from swaps. Perp fees go to JLP. Voting rewards are distributed once a year. Seems to me there isn't much value accrual, and fully diluted valuation is near $8 billion. So the first thing is fully diluted valuation is a meme. Excuse me. Everybody cares about it, but like the market doesn't care about it. I can illustrate this in many different ways. Let's go to CoinGecko and let's go have a look at, I like to use this as an example because this should have never have gone so high, yet somehow it did. Get rid of me for a moment. Axie Infinity, have a look at the market cap, zoom out, and remember there would have been releases in the last little while, but this had a market cap of $10 billion, right? Silly, absolutely silly. Of course, now the market cap is a fraction of that. The fully diluted valuation is here. We can see this as well with so many different things. Aave, now that these are closing up, but once again, market cap, max. People don't care about this. And this is actually, we'll link this below at the end, but this is from Kobe. If you don't know who Kobe is, he is either worth hundreds of millions or billions. He's never said, but he's early into crypto. He's smart. He's done VC investing. He's done some podcasting. He's used to be quite active on Twitter, but I think not so much anymore. And the reality is fully diluted valuation doesn't matter until there's token unlocks. So when there are token unlocks, this is Misari, this is what I have access to now. I'm still learning the feed of it, but let's have a look at some token unlocks. Let me just remember where they're all where everything is. When this token unlocks, yeah, you factor that in for sure. So if there's a big unlock of Dupe coming, you factor that into your research, but you don't look at the fully diluted valuation if it's 4 years from now, if that's what it's going to be, because most people ultimately should probably get into a position and want to exit before the top of the cycle. And then if they're bullish on it, they'd re-enter it potentially. So having a look at this, we can see these unlocks. Now, Arbitrum, 66% of the unlocks have been released. In 2 days, there's 50 million unlocked. We've got Nasana here with a small amount, 1.62. They're almost close. They're like this cycle, there's a lot of emphasis on memes being already out there. But for an actual project, you want the tokens to be locked. And you don't want to consider that too much. Now, Dupe, we need to do some decent research into Dupe. But the reason why, I'm bullish on it is, and I have my biases, so you have to be aware. Everybody has their biases. Whether or not they mention them, that's up to them. The thing with Jupiter is it does so much stuff. And like it is still a governance token. It's the most active DAO in crypto. They have votes on everything, and it's just like a shipping DAO. It's like shipping and just improving things. And things get wrong, if they get it wrong, or it doesn't do really well, they just reiterate. So we can cover all the tokenomics on this, but back to this question specifically, why are we bullish? Firstly, like 25% of the dupe, the perp fees, they go to the team. The other goes to JLP, yes. The voting rewards are distributed every 3 months. And basically, imagine as you start to get more and more people actually talking about dupe. And it's like, it is the most used, biggest app on Solana. It is probably the most used app in crypto, to be perfectly honest. Potentially, I need to like check out those things. But so when you've got something like this, which it connects everything, it's like a grow the pie metric. And all you have to do is keep in mind that in the future, like once revenue is like, $200 million a year, which is probably next cycle or more, then like, a vote could be like, let's, actually distribute some of those profits. A team is not going to need to make 200 million. Plus, they have upside in the token. They want the token to do really well. That's why I think Dupe is fantastic. The other thing is, I've mentioned this so many times as well, but if you go and stake this Dupe token, you may not have watched the content too often. If you go and stake your Dupe token, I don't really have much in this wallet, but this is a tutorial wallet. This is earning like 80% APY. So I've done a couple of votes in this one. And if I go /ASR, there was like a small claim. And, I claimed 8 tokens. This only has 50, and it doesn't even have that many to begin with. So you go and claim these tokens. And when you factor that into a yearly thing, you're getting like almost double what you put in, which is very, very decent. That's why I think the Dupe token has a lot of value. And if you don't want to have, like people sometimes say, Dupe Sol or JLP, you can have all both. You can have all both. You don't have to just choose one. And if you're not super bullish on Dupe, just skip it. Skip it for now. But keep in mind that, Dupe connects everything in terms of liquidity on Solana. Most of all the swaps on the Solana DEX go through Dupe. And when a user likes Adapt, they really do want to support it and get the mindshare. Plus, as more and more working groups go out, imagine what's going to, like, when the videos and the content actually push people straight to Dupe. And I don't even know what the future holds, but that's why, people are betting on Dupe. And they didn't do VC rounds or anything. Like it's kind of the best tokenomics play. And they're burning some of the supply. It's a valuable thing. The other thing is creating a cult-like community. It's almost as if this has the potential to become a governance /meme coin because of this cult-like community. They're called cadets, CATDETS. I'm a cat person. I find it a little bit funny, but this actually has a community that's going a little crazy for it. That's why. And yeah, this is the ROI of 20% every 3 months or thereabouts. Can even be a little bit more. So what do I think about KRC tokens? I don't even know what KRC tokens are. So let's have a look at them. Casper. Okay. So like Casper as a blockchain is something that like I never got involved with. They did like as far as I'm aware, like a fair launch. Like you could mine it. And I don't know how many dApps are on that. And sometimes that's just because it's not obvious. So this token outperformed in the bull market, in the bear market, insanely well, right? Everything went really, really quiet. And we could bring this up in TradingView. Everything went really, really quiet. And then all of a sudden this came into being and it just went nuts. But I don't even know why. It's hard to work out why it has done so well. But it did. But I'm not actually aware. I'm not actually aware. Let's just kind of zoom right out. Okay, the trading data isn't here for that long. Either way, we can work it out here. The all-time low and the all-time high, massive. This was very, very profitable. But I wasn't able to work out like how much was actually happening on this blockchain. And until we kind of work that out, I would say I'm not bullish on this. I think, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how many people are actually like using it. Yeah, there's no pre-mine, no allocated tokens. Great. But like how much potential does it actually have in order for people to be trusted to use it? Are there grants? Are there incentives to build? If not, it won't take off. So I guess all in all, not bullish on it yet. What we could do though is quickly have a look at Messari and kind of see like what is actually happening in terms of news. Just quickly. Let's have a look at the news. I'm still, as I said, I'm still kind of reading this, but there is maybe not too much news here. Casper, what I really want to see is like how many people are using it as opposed to just the price go up. We'll need to do a little bit of a look into it after Breakpoint, if that's okay. What's happening with DPioneers? So nothing crazy, nothing too much yet. I know they were doing like another like kind of raise in terms of like minting out NFTs, but I didn't want to actually cover them. Like okay, so the public mint is opening again. Essentially, the issue is, and I'm happy to speak to the Uprock team on this, that we have DMs available, but my expectation with Uprock was, yeah, you've got a lot of users, great. That was their first plan. Then it was monetization. It was like earn revenue. So that hasn't happened yet. Until that happens, and it can happen, it should happen, and when it happens, I think it'll be very good for the Uprock token. DPioneers is linked to the Uprock team, like exclusively, right? So, and there are people that like are super bullish on this. They're probably going to be better off answering this question, but basically, Uprock needs to do well, and when they do well, this will do well. Or DPioneers needs to do well, and then Uprock can start to do well. But I think the easy thing is Uprock turns on revenue generation by selling the data that they're, getting from people using the Uprock app, and then the DPioneers have a 302 standard, meaning there's like different tokens, render, maybe some helium, maybe some Nasana, unsure on that, but details are in their Discord. Uprock as another token, and the value of those tokens as they accrue. Remember, my expectation was they're going to outperform Sol. Then this value of this NFT goes up. I think this is a very good idea. I think the good idea was doing the 302 system, but I'm not going to go and buy any more of these. I've got some, and I'm fine with them. I think they're going to be fairly close on like 1.8 to Sol, something like that, because you can liquidate them. DPioneers 1.84. So they're kind of sitting around this until I guess their value goes up. Not crazy on the art personally. And I feel like when you try to do too many things at once, it's hard. And that's, I think, what they've done. But I'm counting on their success. I am counting on their success, but I'm not going to, like, there's no point in going and minting one right now because you can buy that for, well, 2 Sol here. And then, or you can go mint it. Well, it hasn't opened yet, but what is it? It's like public mint entities have never been sold or circulated at remint price plus 1 Sol. It's just like there's not going to be any demand if you're going to be minting for more than the actual cost of buying one off Tencent. That's the issue. That's what's going on with DPioneers. Beeble's upcoming airdrop, didn't even realize there was one. So Beeble, if you don't know, is for those that are not familiar, he's the most famous, well-paid NFT artist. And he creates a lot of things. Like he sold an NFT in the previous cycle for like $20 million or something insane. He created artwork every single day. But I'm not aware of anything that relates to an airdrop. So we can have a quick look into it, but unsure how that is going to work for those people that don't have any of his art. Sorry. Next good question here. When is Berachain's coin coming out? People, they're not going to tell us this information, because then you're just going to get more and more Sybils. And there's no confirmation on an airdrop, but it is a likely thing. I would imagine if I was a blockchain that had raised a decent amount of money, I would want to bring it up when Bitcoin was past its all-time highs and when we'd start to enter into altcoin season, which is when Bitcoin dominance goes down. If you don't know what that is, I'll quickly show you. But I think we've got something here. Bitcoin dominance. Now it'll be somewhere else. But that's okay. Basically, when the entire market share of Bitcoin starts to drop and the altcoin starts to go up, that's the best time to actually launch a token, because ideally you want to launch a token and there'll be more demand for it. If you do it too early, then it just does what every other token has done recently, like W token, it drops 85%, Tensor, so on. Very few have outperformed. What purpose do the XP points have in drip? It is not stated yet. I would kind of like, don't think of it like drip's going to have a token, because it may never have a token, and I do not want to add to that speculation. Think of it like when you're trying to make a blockchain more successful, you just need more dApps that do really good things. And one thing that does really, really well is like collecting, like NFTs, collecting NFTs. People like that sort of stuff. Then I imagine you can upgrade your XP, and then maybe there's enough demand that there's like raffles, and you have to be a certain tier of XP in order to enter this raffle. And what if these raffles, because Drip has a massive user base, what if a new project in the middle of January next year, when we're probably in a bull cycle, properly up, in my opinion, not financial advice, what if there's so much demand for mindshare that you can go and pay Drip $50,000 and be like, feature our Drip, get people to sign up. We need people on the mailing list in order to let them know about what we're building. And their Drip is it's more of an advertisement, but they've added some cool value behind it. And you can go and win like 15 grand, and there's going to be like 5 prizes, and there's they're going to allocate $20,000 or something, and you have to be a certain XP level in order to get that. Then those things would be really, really worthwhile. And that's just one thing. What about when someone does it, if I create a Drip channel and people start to sign up to that, and then the channel grows and grows and grows, there's revenue and income, and we're doing well. And then a lot of people want to partner, there's free ledgers, or there's free NFTs, or there's $500 worth of bonk. You get all these things, and they can also go into some sort of raffle system, and you have to have a certain amount of XP, something like that. That's what could be, as a speculation point, how it could be used. Who knows? Best place to multiply dupe Camino. To multiply, I'm assuming JLP. So Camino, NX, or Adjustraya. So there is so much competition out there, it's a little bit too silly. The safest place is Camino. But if you don't know what this is, I've covered this on Jupiter's channel in a lot of tutorials. And we've got yield.fan. This is from Mango Markets. So we have Camino, we have NX Finance. It's crazy. Adjustraya. And then there's a new one I haven't checked out, but this is from Lifinity. It's called Sandglass or something like that. And we've got this as well. And there's too many products doing the same thing. So if people are unaware, with NX Finance, I have been very, very clear that I did not enter the IDO. No one's accused me of that, and I never suggested that people do. But I was farming this. I do want these things to have success, but when you have something that does the same thing, like Camino, we already know if we enter into this, into multiply, that we have a higher borrow fee. The max APY is low at the moment because there's not a lot of leverage in JLP. And when you go and you borrow USDC, like there is, it doesn't say it here, but once we connect our wallet, it will. It's like a 0.5% borrow fee. Then we have yield.fan, and this is, don't worry about the APY. It's going to be basically the same across every single thing, depending on your leverage. This is created by Mango Markets. Mango Markets, very, very famous. They had they built a lot of stuff in 2021. They did audits, so very good auditors. They did have an exploit. They made everyone whole, as far as I'm aware, but the Mango token itself has never recovered. So on that aspect, it has not done well. But they had an exploit because someone managed to manipulate an Oracle price and down 97%. So this is kind of a bit brutal. Potentially Yield.fan has its own token, but who's going to win from this one? Like, there's too much competition. Australia, they've been building for quite some time, but they wanted to deploy way back when Solana was congested, and then they changed their process. But I've spoken to them. They've shipped smart contract stuff before in the form of banks and Fract, so they have that skill. And then Sandglass has their own thing here as well. And I mean, they've shipped Lifinity, but Lifinity's TVL has never grown. And I don't want to speak poorly of Lifinity or anything, but it's protocol-owned liquidity. So all your upside is you can hold the token and then earn a small yield. And I just don't think that doesn't have that 10x kind of aspect. Sandglass, they could of course launch your own token, so maybe you want to try a little bit into each. But if I wanted to choose one, sadly for everyone else, it would be Camino. And then if I was allowed to choose two, it would be Camino and Australia, because I've spoken to the team, I've given them plenty of feedback, and they've always been receptive when I've said blah, blah, and blah. But I would like if all of them can actually succeed. Anyway, let me jump on. Let me go through things faster. Hamster Combat Tokenomics, what's your opinion on it? Don't know. Haven't seen them. I'm just playing the game 5 minutes a day. When we get some, sell some, hold some, see how it goes. Come, 20th of September. Just we'll review it then. Ready for 26th. We've got some spam here. That's come. What's my take on Drift after dropping down more than 50%? It's in price discovery before Breakpoint. Drift is it's a very cool app for sure. And yeah, holy damn. It went up, it came down. Its market cap is decent. It's more than Camino's. Crazily, I do think Camino is more valuable. But I hold a little bit of Drift, nothing crazy. I don't have a major opinion on it. I don't know why this is going so crazy. We can have a look at DeFi Llama, and we can have a look and see what its kind of revenue is. Fees annualized 4 million. Revenue 3 million. I'm hoping that's incorrect because that just seems a little bit low. Camino fees 32 million, revenue 7, token price and market cap is lower. I mean, I hate to bring it back to Camino, but I would Camino's got much more value, I think, as opposed to Drift's token when we compare like revenue and all that sort of stuff and features. So, and I think the JLP perps is probably going to grow bigger, right? They already have more volume, I think, than Drift. But look, Drift has been building for quite some time. I do like it as well. But I don't know enough to know the value of holding it token. Do I like Pumpdotfun? No, I don't like it at all. It's hard to use. I think something like Dex Screener's version is probably a little bit better, because this, you need to be a little bit like okay with like just popping up things or turn off these animations. Remember, I just showed you before that like 9 had reached a decent market cap. So it's going to be a bigger failure. Moonshot looks like it has more potential. It's a cleaner UI, but this is still, people are still trick you, right? If you look at all these things, if you see something with a massive amount of transactions, you'll see it's the same wallet just kind of buying and selling it, trying to trick you. Or if it's not, like this one, if it's not actually the same wallets, it'll be like, dev or a team controlling like 10 wallets, trying to make you think like, oh, look, this is so well. This is doing so well. Like this one here, it's the same wallet, same wallet, same wallet. RH, we can probably scan through and we can see repetition on the wallets. But all these things, I think you will lose 99% of the time. I don't think it's worth it. Good point. And strangely, the volume keeps on going down. I don't know why that is. I've got like 3 screens, so I'll just put it in front of me. Then that should be a little bit better. And yeah, like the volume has literally been going down for some reason. When is the Lambo season? Lambo season starts kind of Q4, and then how long does it go for? I don't know, but probably like, June next year should be pretty euphoric. The euphoria could last a few months though. When say Orca gives rewards for LPing, say Popcat, is that because the guys behind Popcat want more liquidity available? Yeah, normally. So when things are incentivized, it's because the devs, they incentivize those pools. So you can go to liquidity and you can find something like Popcat. And if there are fees here, I don't know how they do it these days, but sometimes they show that there are incentives coming. So if we go like this and we just skip anything that's a little bit too low, or massive volume maybe, no. Yeah, you can normally see it. I can't see it here. We can see it in Radium, and we can see it with Camino as well. So if we go liquidity, this makes it far more obvious that there's rewards coming from trading fees and rewards coming from Ray. Let's go with a high APR. Get rid of my face. This is they're just giving you, well, there's no liquidity, so let's skip that. Let's skip. How can we skip anything with low liquidity? We can't. So let's just scroll through until we can see at least $1,000 worth of liquidity. Sol and Dev. Okay, that's just trade fees. Okay. Dupe and Sol, that's just trade fees. Sol and Dupe Sol, I don't think that's true. Like, okay, here. So you can see here, if you're in Dodo, then you get some trade fees, but you also get some there's a $39.30 worth of fees that are distributed every week from Doodoo. Same here. There's a tiny amount of fees. So yeah, just look in this column here to see which ones are lighting up. This one, like there's nothing there. That's nothing. We're not in a time yet when people are really rewarding Blaze $30 worth of weekly fees. It's easier if we show Camino. Trying to keep these under 2 minutes as per my researcher's request, but there's a lot of things to go through. When we have a look at 7-day fees like this, we flick it up, we can see Retardio as an example. They're giving you an incentive, 44%. So have a look for these. Crown 72%. Nothing there. Look for these little lightning bolts. Samo 22%. So that's who it comes from. I won a Solana ID like bounty. I just did the research and that I did a podcast. I thought, this actually does have potential. And I like it. Is there going to be another vote in September for dupe? I don't know. Maybe. Unsure. So if you unstake your dupe, and I've unstaked some dupe so I can move it to Ledger because it's just kind of getting too valuable. Yes. I think there is going to be another vote per researcher. Let's have a look. So when you unstake your dupe and you switch it to a Ledger or safer wallet, then if you miss out on one vote, so be it. But if you unstake it all, it takes like 30 days to unstake. And then for this voting cycle, I'm not sure on that. I think it's like every vote's kind of weighted the same. So if you manage to vote with one, like if you vote for everything in this cycle, and then you unstake today, and then there's in 40 days a new vote, and you go and vote again, we should be pretty much the same. That's what I'm expecting, but it's not a guarantee. What I've been doing when I've been moving stuff to a ledger because they're just sitting in hot wallets, they've been getting too valuable, is I've still kept like a small amount, like 100, 200, or anything under 500 dupe in a wallet, and just kept on voting in that hot wallet. That's my risk tolerance. I would prefer people put more effort into putting it, consolidating it, and keeping it in that ledger. But I like to still keep that record of voting for pretty much every single one and having some, 100, 200, whatever dupe in a hot wallet. That's just my preference. So a couple things here. Casper, which we just chatted about, it's a block DAG. Yeah, it's got a different system as opposed to like proof of stake, because proof of work is more secure than proof of stake. Could be very, very valid. The thing is, ultimately, what's going to lead to something being very, very successful from this point on, even though it already did really good with the token prices, like will more users use it? And if more users will use it, then it has value potentially. And if it doesn't, then they won't. And I don't know how many people are actually using the blockchain for smart contract stuff, Seb's going to get hate for not loving Casper. Casper Army reminds me. I mean, I haven't done any research into it. So we can do some research after Breakpoint. But like it's already done a massive multiple. So if you bought $1,000 worth early on, you'd be sitting on hundreds of thousands of dollars, I think. Okay, so this is interesting though. So when smart contracts come to Casper, it will steal a lot of stable liquidity. Not necessarily, because like when smart contracts are deployed, and when I don't even know when that is, it could take, midway through the cycle, and then, do you just immediately trust them? Like we saw the other day, like $100 million was deposited from Wintermute potentially into Camino, and they borrowed $35 million worth of PYUSD. Which whales are just going to go and blindly trust Casper? I don't think we're there yet. You could be a little bit too early. And I mean, you may want to have your portfolio arranged in such a way that you have got a bit of a bet on this random token. But like, there wasn't really any news of it in Messari, which is like the premium research thing. We'll obviously be creating our own research. But look, this is number 26. It's a new blockchain, and clearly there's some Bitcoin money in it. And it's up 100,000%. So it's kind of insane. I don't even know how you get it, how you mine it, but maybe it's even worth mining. You heard about? I heard there would be a Solana ID airdrop for holding a Herman. Yeah, I heard that they were partnering with particular Like there'll be some sort of solid tokenomics that could result in being an airdrop. Sure. I would say whatever they are, you want to align with certain groups, of course, but for the most part, you should reward the people that are actually using it. So if you have a Herman, cool, you might want to hold into your Herman. Alternatively, like go and mint the Solana ID. The first path, the first aspect, and then from there, sorry, I'm not even showing myself. Here I am. But let's go back to this. Go and mint it. And then, oh, wrong one. Go and mint this pass. Try and get into business or first class. And then you'll be ready to get the actual ID when it comes out. That's what I think is more valuable. And obviously, whatever they do with Solid's tokenomics, we'll have to wait and see. I'm going to transparently give feedback before, like ideally before they release them, because in the podcast I did, I was very interested in Solana ID. I became far more interested, but when it came to the very end of the tokenomics, I was a little bit like I couldn't see all of the value. And you don't want to go and send out a low valuation token to a lot of people that then gets dumped. Because if you do that, you have Sharky. And Sharky, sadly, just has not done well. From 50 cents to an all-time low of 3 cents and a market cap fully diluted of under $4 million. Speaking of new altcoins, what do you think about Monad? I think Monad will, like, there's a clear, it's hard because I've spoken to a couple of people on this, but my first impression was it will do exceptionally well, because there's a lot of money in it. They've raised a huge amount of money, and let's have a look here. Let's have a look at Masari. They've raised a lot of money. There's a lot of attention. There's good wallets that are going after it. Phantom's going after it. Which and there's probably going to be just specific wallets that only do that blockchain, which would be my preference, by the way. Let's have a look at this. However, sometimes there's so much attention on something. Monad Labs. Sometimes there's so much attention on something that it's actually, it's not going to do well. Like it's already priced in too far. But when testnet goes live, we'll play on it for sure. If it can get some sort of airdrop potential, great. Essentially, the only reason why it has value is like proper value is because people like EVMs. EVMs have a lot of liquidity, and if this supports 10,000 transactions per second, then brilliant. But there's still going to be, and like even validator.com, who you should be staking Sol with, we would be even keen to run a validator on this blockchain. We would definitely be keen. So if anyone has connections to Monad, let me know. But we don't want to overhype ourselves for this. We want to use it and we want to find value in it. But there are other blockchains that could potentially even beat Monad. So I'm bullish on it, but there's smart money that's basically saying that will be VC's exit money. So you have to be mindful of buying the token when the token is released. Berachain is not something that I very familiar with, other than the fact that we should go and actually use a test network. That's all. That's all we know thus far. Do you think we'll have a more insane bull run this time than last cycle? No, I don't. And we can see this because every time that we actually go through a cycle, and I'm just going to show CoinGecko just so it's faster, the gains are less and less. The gains are always less and less because people get smarter and smarter. So if you go from these lows to the highs, like the actual return on investment on just Bitcoin, massive. This ICO season is insane. We'll pull up this tweet because it shows us far better. and we'll get rid of me. So, this cycle here, 10,000% on Bitcoin. This cycle here, 4,000% on Bitcoin. This cycle here, from lows to highs, 636%. This cycle, if the price goes like from the halvening time to what it could go to, say at $160,000 per BTC, that's 333. So no, I don't think we're going to have an insane run. Like, unless you get lucky with a meme coin, which is very, very rare. So no, I don't think, but like, it's still like, this is our last proper cycle, I think, that we're going to do well. And then after that, it will be significantly harder. There'll be more regulation. It's going to be probably a very dark few years. I don't want to get too much into that, but like, it will be pretty bearish times, I think, based on that 18.6 year property cycle data, which I've spoken about quite often. What does this say? Do you think Toby could outperform Jito in the airdrop? Are you bullish on Toby? And could you explain what MEV is? I don't know what Toby is. I think I've seen it on my feed though. Tyler, please ping me some information on that. But I'll explain what MEV is quickly. So it was initially called miner extractable value, like when Ethereum miners would see the transactions in a block. And I can visualize this like a little bit if we go to something like TX Street, which has been changed, but this is fine. txcity.io. This is what, like, how you visualize a block, okay? So there's all these transactions that come up, and then there's a certain amount of time, and they can go into this. Now, if this transaction here says, hey, I want to buy $1,000 worth of $1,000 worth of ETH, because this is EVM, and I'm happy to do it at slippage of 10% for some reason. So they're happy to take a 10% haircut. Someone can come in before them if necessary. They can buy up a decent amount of ETH in that liquidity pool. Then the next transaction will go through, and then they can even then in the next transaction or one of the next transactions, they can go ahead and they can sell it and they can make a bit of profit. Now, this is a slower blockchain. You can see there's 75,000 pending transactions. Bitcoin has almost 80,000 pending transactions, and they just wait until the price goes low enough, and then they'll try and jump in, or they'll fail, or whatever. Put myself here. So that's how that works. Now, it works the same way with Jito Labs. The transaction scene, the block is a lot faster. Your block is like 400 milliseconds, so less than a second. Someone goes into the block and they buy out that or a transaction goes in. First, the transaction goes in, a bot sees it. It says that this person wants to buy this new meme coin, DOD. They want to buy this new meme coin, DOD. They want to buy $10,000 worth of it with 20% slippage, which means they're happy to actually walk away with $8,000 worth of token. So someone goes in with a bot and they say, hey, I'm going to buy up whatever the amount is. I'm going to buy $25,000 worth of token. I want my transaction to go first, and I'm going to tip you a certain amount of money to the validator, and then that transaction will happen first. The other person will get less because they've agreed to it with their slippage settings, and then the next transaction in the block, the other person will go and sell, and they may realize a profit of $700 or whatever it may be. But what's going to happen is, they can do thousands of transactions a day, and a good MEV bot will make millions of dollars a year, millions of dollars a month. Sorry, that's how that works. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that your slippage settings are not like that. And if you really want to, you can go directly to dupe.ag and you can put in I thought it was done here. Oh, here, sorry, it's changed its place. Mixed save changes. MEV protect turn it on, and then this will be hidden so that no one can sandwich attack you. So if I'm like, all right, I'm going to spend $2 and go buy this latest meme coin size, I don't know what this is, and I'm like, yeah, I'm happy to have slippage of, like, in order to try and get it 20%. But ideally, you just reduce your slippage. That's how it works. MEV has kind of come on down because Jito doesn't allow you to use their client to sandwich attack, but other people are still sandwich attacking. Sandwich attacking is like there's legal issues with it, and it's necessary in some ways, but also it's probably net negative. All right. Let's have a look and see if Toby. Let's have a look. Okay, let's have a look at Toby. To answer the second part of the question, good questions. Thanks very much for putting them all here. So MEV powered liquid staking rewards. Don't know. If the Toby crew are at Singapore, come and say hi. We can find out. But I don't know if they've got their own client yet or anything thus far. There isn't enough information for me to give any proper information on this, sadly. So this is his view, and this is this guy's view. We'll have to wait and see. I think we're going to see some decent price action before December, but I'll consult. We research plenty of different places. I'm not smarter than other people. I'm just trying to. I think I'm better at educating sometimes and keeping things simple. So we pull information from different sources and we see what their success rate is like. And we try to outperform them, ideally. Will you mint a market elite NFT? Don't know what they are, so no. But we can have a brief look into them another day. But NFT season's it's a little bit scary right now, right? What I think of Borg on Solana, I'm assuming this is a meme coin. And if so, then most of them will lose. Is this it here? Borg Sol? If this is it, then not bullish. I mean, last tweet, like 4 days ago. What is the favorite DEX for providing liquidity right now? Meteor, Orca, Radium, or other? So the best DEX is Meteora because it's built by the Meteora Jupiter team. They are the GOATs on Solana for sure. And Orca and Radium already have a token. The token will unlikely reach its all-time high. There's no even reason, as far as I'm aware, to hold the Orca token. I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent. But same with Radium. So Meteora doesn't have a token, and you get MET points, and those MET points will translate to a token in the future, right? This is still down 90%. Radium, same deal. So I would say the best thing would be to provide liquidity on, this is down 90% as well. Best place, Meteor. If Meteor is too difficult for you, then I've mentioned this in many videos, go and do liquidity with something like Sol and Jito Sol and choose a DEX that is Meteor. That way you're getting, here you're getting some JTO incentives, you're getting points from being on Meteor, and you're getting some communion points as well. So this is probably the smartest, easiest thing. Because liquidity for providing right now when the rewards are quite low is hard. Next dupe vote is in next week. Okay. Kind of don't know if they're going to do it during Breakpoint. but so we'll see. Missing one vote in the ASR cycle, drop your return. Yeah, look, if there's like 7 or 8 votes and then you miss one in a cycle, then you're actually dropping over 10%. I suggested Juke Meow, they should have a contest guessing when we reach 1 million unique wallets to encourage community involvement. Okay. Yeah, I mean, suggest a way. Is there a live feed for each stage at Breakpoint? Maybe. All we know is that crypto.com will be live streaming it. So let's have a look at their YouTube channel in a second, but let's have a look at the Solana conference Twitter and see with the post where they talk about they were going to be they're partnered with crypto.com. Go down a few more things. Let's see if we can find it. It wasn't too long ago. Either way, it did say crypto.com. And if we can't find it in a second, we'll skip it and we'll have a look and see if they have some sort of channel. I think it's like this, crypto.com. Okay, they don't have a link tree. So we'll just go check out the tube. Crypto.com. Don't know if I'm going to find out their actual. Excuse me. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it. But I imagine there's going to be some sort of live stream or slightly delayed live stream. They don't have a YouTube button here, right? I'm not missing that. So they could just be live streaming it via Twitter. Tune into, it says X YouTube, but they don't actually say, like, it will definitely be available. Well, okay, maybe they have access to Solana's own thing. So cool. It'll be on this Solana Foundation at Solana Foundation. Jupiter price prediction for the cycle, I think around 10 million market cap. I don't have a price prediction. Like, I think it's a little bit too early. Yeah, I don't know. That's a hard one. It's a hard one. I don't know. We need to find out like what's going to happen in the, like with future Japanuaries, how much of a reward is going to go, when all the unlocks are happening. All the data's there, but it's not collated into one place. So we'll get a researcher on it, but Breakpoint's our priority. ASIC mining, I don't have any machines of ASIC minings. These are like application specific integrated circuits or something. They're basically machines that will mine Bitcoin, Litecoin, and all these things. Very popular 2017, very popular last cycle, but more so like they're not really profitable. They use a lot of electricity. Unless you've got a decent price for electricity, then it's not going to be worthwhile. I have never owned one. I've never used them, and I'm not interested in them. If you want to find out about them, you have to look at mining channels, and they're not really good in terms of return on investment. What is the future of crypto short and long term? How is it going to fold? So ideally, the future of crypto in the long term, 10, 15 years, people have control of their assets. There's far better security. Getting hacked or scammed is hard to do. And, we have people that are not just losing out to inflation like we do in the current world. Short term, 2026 should be 2026 or so should be a time when markets will do really, really poorly. It doesn't matter who's in power in the US, Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. It's not going to matter. This is the property cycle theory, which we've spoken about a few times. That's just one theory, right? Could be wrong. Maybe they can money print out of it. If they can money print out of it, then inflation will be bad. And then you're looking at like civil wars throughout the world, potentially. So we could get to a $10 trillion market cap this cycle. And if that happens, then I think that's too big. but it's certainly possible. So no, it's possible. 2.19 trillion. We could get this to, this is, pretty much max of what it's ever been. If this gets to 10 trillion, that would be absolutely massive, and then it'll just sharply decline. And yeah, so short term, a year and a bit, we can get around that. And then after that, it'll be a brutal period. And then crypto will actually do really well in the future, is my expectation. Do you think that people have graduated out of meme coins and they will start finally? I think so. I think there's a lot of people that are going to move away from meme coins because they just don't hit. So many of them are fail. What do I think about dead Utes? I don't know. I haven't heard of it. I'm assuming it's just an NFT. Just a derivative. So just to learn about botting. If you look at this here, and it's done 38 minutes ago, you've got that many followers. It's not followed by anybody that I'm following at all, which I follow like 3,000 people or something. So that's a red flag. Then you've got 193 likes, 743 comments. This is botted. And let's have a look. These are botted. These are botted. So bearish, exceptionally bearish. What are your thoughts on Say? I'm only bullish because I think their marketing budget might be more than development budget. Too much shilling on X. Would love to hear your thoughts. I don't know. I've heard of it like a couple of times, but we're keen to see like how many people are actually using this network properly. And let's see if there's any news, curated news maybe. Okay. Well, we can have a look into it in the future, but I don't have any proper viewpoints on it right now, if I'm honest. A little bit, yeah, I don't know. Monad, look, I think with this, it's going to be worthwhile to try and get an airdrop. We don't know how to get the airdrop. Probably worthwhile joining the Discord to create some art if you've got some art skills, but it's going to be hard. Like there's so much hype around it. What happened to the almighty alpacas? So let's have a look. I don't know why they're not getting a lot of traction. I think it's just because NFTs are like a scary DeFi land, but they created a cool game and they've got great graphics, great art. But yeah, they're not able to pull up a lot of traction for whatever reason. And I don't think, and they had like a $30,000 like incentivized testing period out these, but their floor price has gone down, really significantly. And the volume is nothing crazy. So I think it's just NFTs in general. Like it's hard. It's really, really hard, which is why I stay away from them for the most part. I bought some of these. They did not go up in value at all. I still hold them. We played the game a little bit, enjoy the game, but been a little bit too busy to actually play it. I hope they achieve success because I think it's really cool. But maybe it just doesn't have enough hype. Maybe it's not the meta. The meta is more meme coins, DeFi, which is why we focus mostly on DeFi. You're welcome. Thanks for following. So 2026 onward property cycle is going to be blood in the streets, an amazing buying opportunity, but it might take longer for the next bull run. Yeah, so if people aren't aware of kind of how this looks, and I'll just tangent. I'll have a 30-second tangent, I promise. Let me see if I can find something from Jason Pizzino quickly. This is the first time that most people are going to be experiencing this properly, because the last time this happened, We'll just scroll through and see if we can find any kind of references quite often. Otherwise, we'll look at someone else. This is the first time since 2007, 2008 that something has actually happened. I'm going to have a look at Philip J. Anderson, who either talks about this or popularized it or something. And he's worth a follow. He's pretty much just into real estate, and he'll just mention that we're we're nearing the top of the cycle. Jason Pizzino, 18.6 years cycle. I want to see like an image, a particular image. So this is how it happens. So this was like, we had, I guess, 2007, 2008 was this time when it came on down, and it comes on down quite violently, 30%, 40%, depending on wherever. Like if it's a mining town, there's no more mining, it just drops significantly, and that's back here. And then we go up, and then we have a mid-cycle slowdown, which always happens per the last decent number of entries. And this happened during COVID. Everyone blamed COVID, but it's kind of bound to happen regardless. And then it doesn't necessarily always look like this, but like, slows down, whatever, and then trickles along, and then we start to go up. We have been up, and then we enter this period which we're in right now, winner's curse. And then this violent period, this will be the first time in crypto that people are going to experience this. The bull market may not coincide with a halvening, but it may do. But sorry, the bear market may not coincide with a halvening. It could be vicious for like years. We never know. Ultimately, this is like, in this period, I want to like kind of take some profits, hedge, and then still hustle in this period, but more so like just learn, educate people on finance and the opportunities here. Who knows what they're going to be, but if we can take some profits in this period, that would be the goal. Would you bet on AI, RWAs, or L2? I'm so lost that why do we need L2s and why so many? Why not just go another L1 altogether? Like there's not like a super clear narrative yet. AI, some things pump. Real world assets, I think that's going to come next year. And layer twos, most people that do well on layer twos, unless you can airdrop farm like really well, or Sybil it really well, which I can't, and requires like coding skills and servers and stuff, then the people that are going to do well will be the VCs and the angels, normally. The difference between Jitter and Toby is that Toby is now an open MEV. What it now means, okay, if it's open MEV, then it means that anyone can do sandwich attacks, and we're going to be in for some trouble. And if that happens, then like some dark days for Solana. Until dApps start to integrate like what Jupiter has, where you can turn on MEV protect and hide your transaction. With the Camino tokens, if you want to know about that, I did a post on it, and I included it a couple of days ago. So you can have a look and see that post. And just kind of scrolling down a couple of things. No, not that one. Sorry, one more. This one. So you can see the unlock schedule. And I'm very bullish on Camino. And I've been bullish on Camino from the beginning. So when you start to see other people bullish on it, great. They're probably going to copy my research, but I appreciate that. We can see the unlocks start to happen, and there's 2.2% of the total supply each month. What do we get? I mean, that's a good point. We can see how much inflation is coming right then. We don't know how much of the community inflation is going to happen before then, so we will update this. But then we start to get a decent unlock period. So most of the gains will be here to be made before 30th of April, and probably like kind of March, right? Before people are really, really, really before it's really relevant, I think. But then again, like if Camino by this stage has $10 billion worth of TVL, and if they have like $20 million worth of like revenue a month, which they could have, then they could just go and buy up some of the supply, buy it, lock it for 10 years. They don't have to lock and burn, or they don't have to buy and burn. They could just lock it for 10 years and then just give more, delay gratification. If they believe themselves, like I think they do, that could be an option. Just from a legal standpoint, unsure if it can be done. Am I familiar with Rainfi? Yeah, I've done a few tutorials on them, and good product. Texture Finance also does a similar thing. You can go watch out those tutorials. I don't use it because it's you need to be. It's like one of those things. If you're not making content, or if you've got plenty of time, you've got plenty of time to do it. That's fine. You need to work out what you can take a loan on, and you can go and get a good loan on say Bonk, and go borrow US dollars, and then make some money on it, and then pay back the loan. But you pay like 80% per year on that Bonk loan, so it can be kind of high. But there are ways to, like if Bonk value goes down compared to your USD, you can just let it default. There are techniques involved that are really good, and you can go and loan out your own assets and earn decent yields. So I think it's pretty cool. Do you think Emmy has a chance of dropping September 17th? I think it'd be really difficult. No, I don't. So they're probably going to be dropping. I imagine they may do something like Tensor, where they use Jupiter's infrastructure, the launchpad. And the reason why I would think that is because this is going to be the second biggest airdrop. I think the biggest one, Jupiter, and then this would be the second biggest, I imagine. Other than Bonks, which was like specifically airdrop, this would be like a claim system. And the amount of network requirements needed from the Jupiter team in order to make that smooth, right when token 2049 is about to start, I don't think it's going to happen. What do you think about fully diluted? They already have 1 billion in the tokens. Like, we'll cover these tokenomics when we've got time. And then I'm so far. I'm so slow. I'm sorry. I'm getting better at this. Opinions about Drift. Like, you can probably try and earn the token, but buying the token, like, it's more valuable. I showed before, it's more valuable than Camino's token, yet Camino has more revenue, more TVL, more everything. So I don't know. But having said that, like if I had the bandwidth, I would ask for a creator grant from Drift. I spent a lot of time giving feedback to Drift on things they did, like things I think they did well, things they didn't do well. So I am bullish on them, but like the token's already done really well. If you had to guess how you divide the dupe airdrop score between staking, voting, spot trading, and limit orders. Okay, so I'm hoping that no one's going to know about this other than the team directly, and that there will be no leaks. So in January, next January, there will be another, if the DAO votes on it, there'll be another dupe airdrop. The first one, of course, was just if you just did spot trades, right? The more volume you did, the more airdrop you did. Now, I don't know if they're going to reward stakers necessarily, but let's assume that, if you stake a little bit of dupe soul, or you hold some dupe soul, you get a little bit, fine. Voting, I think if you vote, you'll get some for sure. There's even speculation if you hold a few of the POAPs from the Jupiter planetary calls, you could get some. Spot trading, minimal. Minimal because everyone can do spot trade now. So I think it'll be if you're using DCA or limit order or some perps, and ideally you'd use limit order and DCA. That's what I would be using. That's what I use. Can you look at NebX project? Not live on the stream, but we can flick it and check it out. A name like NebX just looks a little bit like the branding's already off. It's already bad. So no. Bonk, let's go. Love Bonk. With Bonk, I did a video today, or I did a video that was released today, part of the 10K to 100K challenge. And you need to go. I made one error in that, and that video, I'll just show it to you. But it's we'll just see on my Twitter here. I think it would have been tweeted out. I didn't ask anyone to tweet out, so maybe not. But with Bonk, you let's have a look. This one. So this is how you use Bonk Dragon. Please do not fade Bonk Dragon. It is and the error is I went and locked up Bonk for all these different amounts of time, which you'll see down here ish. Doesn't matter. Like it was right there. Either way, I locked it for like 3 months, 6 months, 1.5 year, 1 year, whatever it was. Apparently, if you just lock 1 million Bonk for a year, you also get all the attributes. And then you go into a few other things. You get a Let's Bonk domain, and you get you send someone a Bonk mark card, and then you get all these dragon attributes here, and you want to build as many of them as possible. We don't know when there's going to be an airdrop or if there's going to be airdrop, but it's likely. That's why I like Bonk. And many reasons. What are your thoughts regarding dupe tokenomics? We have a lot of questions on this, so yeah, we will put some attention onto that. But that needs to be like that needs to spend. It'd be like 15 hours of researcher's time. What do you think about the coin network? any deep in thing for it to have like proper product market fit, they need a way to easily be able to monetize. So I don't know if they've been able to monetize yet. If they can't monetize early enough, if Web2 companies not willing to pay for their data, or if Web3 companies not willing to pay for the data, or whatever they're producing, then like we speculate on it early with maybe a small bag, and then we see if it does well. But I don't have enough data to really know if like how Koi will do. I'm bullish on Bonk, not as much on Dog with Hat, but in holders, X followers, everything Bonk is bigger and better than Dog with Hat. How is a market cap of WIF bigger than Bonk? I just don't get it. I don't get it either. But essentially, probably there's less holders. So there's less holders of WIF, or there's more like holders that like most of the supply will be in a few people, whereas Bonk is more of a fair system, so there's more sell pressure. But I think Bonk will outperform WIF. Having said that, Tyler, researcher, has shown before that from lows, WIF jumps up higher than Bonk, typically. GM. You're welcome for all of the information. Thanks for tuning in. No, the next January will not be as big as the first. And it shouldn't be. The DAO will not vote for that. Ideally, the January is like a 10-year plan or something quite extensive, and the actual rewards are minimal. Otherwise, you're going to see that significant sell pressure. Simon's Cat, like there was a very good play, and I need to credit Tyler, who did the research, and I need to credit that Bonk guy, Unipix. Give this person a follow. He's outperformed. He outperforms in the meme space, and like he's just been right too many times. And this is doing well. The annoying thing with this token with Cat is it just like it didn't fall. I wanted it to fall, and it just didn't want to fall. Market cap just kind of like it went up too fast, and I didn't buy any more here, and then it just took off. So if you want to buy something, you can use Flocky Trading Bot, and you can just kind of DCA in, or you can use Pancake Swap. But I do like the token, and I'm holding some, and I'm just holding it. I did take profit on this. Sui. All right, have plenty of people asking about Sui. One thing to keep in mind is that there's limited bandwidth, and we need to work out what's going to work and what's not going to work. And so Sui, I think there's a lot of upside to Sui for a couple of reasons. One thing is it's like a fast TPS blockchain, which is always quite valuable. There's also one of the big brain twins. Is they've invested a lot in Sui. Like this is a Sui thing here. So this twin talks a lot. This twin won't be there, but the other big brain twin will be there. So yeah, I think Sui has a lot of upside, but like this, it's just hard to cover everything, right? But I think a little bit of Sui in your portfolio is probably not a bad idea. Nothing is financial advice, of course. What are you looking forward to most at token 2049? As you know, like Solana's been most of the focus, and I've been in crypto since like 2017. So Solana, like I'm most familiar with, but I'm very decently familiar with other EVMs and all that sort of stuff. So it'd be nice to go and see what's actually cooking outside of the Solana ecosystem, because we maybe like 50% of the time we want to talk about Solana, and maybe 60%, and then the other on other upcoming projects or things that look like they're very, very valuable. And in the future, ideally, I'd like to have education on as many decently valuable blockchains as possible. So I just want to see what's out there, and I want to see if we can find any gems, things that are not being talked about. How important DeFi and DePIN to each other, and what significance do you see community and culture playing in their progression? Irish, thanks for the answer. Well done on your Dupe and Juice vote being passed. I don't think DeFi and DePIN work together. They're two different narratives, like DeFi and NFTs. NFTs didn't do well because of DeFi, and DeFi didn't do well because of NFTs. DeFi is, getting returns on money. That will be the kind of the safest play, I think, for the most, and we'll see more money go in there, but we're not going to see these 1,000, 2,000 APYs like we did in the previous cycle. DePIN, there's so many things in DePIN that just don't have product market fit. And yet they're still being funded, and then people can't talk really about how they're going to do well. And so I would say 1 in 100 are going to make it. And this makes it very risky. The other thing, the issue with DePIN is it's needed, it's valuable. But the thing is, if we enter into a Camino clone, someone comes along, forks some code and makes a new Camino-ish, or a new quick swap on Polygon or whatever. Like, it gets audited, it has a transparent team, they have some rewards. People flock there. It's easy, right? It's just code and shipping, some developers, some branding, some marketing. In DePIN, there are so many things that can go wrong that we need to be very selective with what we're doing. So as an example, if it's hardware, then someone has to design the hardware, patent it, create it, probably in China. China's not actually like that easy to build stuff in unless you have local talent that can get it done. Then they need to ship it to different warehouses, and then you have to have like customs. Like, getting stuff into Portugal is a nightmare. It's just not even worth it. Then there's like going to be returns, and then things are not going to work, and then so you have to have a massive amount of technical overhead in order to make these things work, right? Whereas like Camino can just keep on shipping stuff that makes you returns, and their revenue's going to be $200 million a year. How will a DePIN thing work? Right now, all the things are like relating to things like sensors. Like, oh, we can measure the noise and get noise credits. Who's going to use that? Who's going to buy that? Oh, you can save water. Is that a Web3 thing or Web2 thing? So DePIN's been pushed to the narrative, but I haven't seen like something that can be shipped that's like really easy. That's why I think there's more value to things like Grass and Uprock. Even though Uprock has not performed well, they need to create revenue, and Grass, like, they still need to turn on revenue. They're confident that they'll be able to get revenue. Those things are just applications that you put on your computer. So that element is far more cool. Or like if you put on a GPU and you do some AI stuff, but then does it outperform the cost of electricity? Long answer, but DePIN is like, I think it's like a push narrative as opposed to a really organic narrative. Same with like things like Teleport, which is like an Uber competitor. Great idea. Like, how hard is it to make happen though? You're fighting with like regulators, and it's just kind of hard. But I hope they do well. Who knows how well it's going to go. I'll continue some AMAs. I think we're almost at the end. DePIN for electricity. Look, if you are bullish on DePIN for electricity, then I can connect you to some people in that space. But yeah. All right. We've got a couple final last questions, and we're going to end this. Thanks for tuning in. Bit of a monster one, but we're here now. All right, this is one from the Tube. Enjoy your work except for the slam on Tron and Justin. Don't understand your opinion. I'm invested in TRX since 2018. Cool. I'll show you why. TRX. Max. So if you bought anywhere in this period, if you bought the top, you're down, right? Entirely down. If you bought around here, you did not see outsized returns at the peak. And now you're starting to see outsized returns kind of now. This is number 11. Most of the stuff that like happens over here is just like transfers. Like they use it mostly just to like transfer USDT around from network, like centralized exchange to centralized exchange. It's highly centralized. Justin Sun is very smart, but he pushes money in on narratives and then he pulls money out. And he's essentially, I'm not going to say anything that's going to risk getting sued or whatever. But you can see like it hasn't really performed that well. And that's what, like, if you find there's value in the ecosystem, go for it. It's a very centralized network. That's the issue. And we can just see from the price, like from 5 cents to 15 cents. Cool. Solana, right? From $8 to $130. There's just more upside there. That's my point there. This one, a lot of people want to research on dupe, so yeah, it's going to get done. Some people don't like long videos. My suggestion is I speak reasonably slow. So if you're a native English speaker, just put on 1.5x speed. And we're trying to get the daily videos down, but these live stream ones, yeah, they're going to be a little longer until I get them faster and faster. Why are you bullish on the Camino token? You can read that research report, and essentially, I'm bullish on the platform, and then the token should accrue value because that is in the best interests of the community and the team. That's how you align incentives, by token going up without you saying, we're going to make the token go up, because then you get sued. You are not bullish on NX Finance, and that is providing boost for the airdrop. Yes, I'm not bullish on NX Finance, and we can see that they did not do a good launch. That there are, early in this live stream, there's 5 examples of competitors in the space. Camino were first. They're the safest. They've got the most number of audits. They have trust. Camino is doing the same thing, no other purpose for the token, and that was your concern last time. I think I made it pretty clear here. With NX Finance, I want them to do well. I want everyone to do well. You can't rush things, and they rush their token launch. Still using their platform, but the airdrop is probably going to not be worth anything. Why keep talking about market cap that doesn't mean anything about valuation? FTV is a relevant measure. This will be linked below at the end of the call. It's old, but it's worthwhile. It's FTV doesn't mean that much. You need to see when unlocks happen, and we'll keep people updated with the unlocks. Thoughts on Sui? We have a lot of people that are interested in Sui, and I want to cover it. Just bandwidth, but we will. Whales Market. The Whales Market is a great tool to use in order to buy and sell tokens pre-market. The actual tokenomics, they have listed them, but how do we know how good they are? They're also the same team behind GM.ai. I even did a sponsored video on intent.trade. I think intent.trade is cool. But if people are not willing to be really on board with transparency in their tokenomics, that kind of PPP, player pump player vibe, and CAT, certainty, alignment, and transparency, then I wouldn't touch this. I have some of this token and I'm not buying any more. However, the platform is worth using if you want to pre-buy and pre-sell, buy trade tokens before they go on the market. But no, I will not be buying any of the token. Not financial advice. All right. Entropy is best deep in play, promises nothing. Well, Tyler put it on the list. We'll have a quick look. You can't promise nothing, right? If people are going to put capital into it, you have to have a vision and whatnot. And RWAs, yeah, I think RWAs could do well next year. Great. All right. Thanks very much for everyone tuning in. is a long one, and I think everything is good. Yeah, appreciate it. And next week, just so you're aware, we're going to be at Breakpoint. There's not going to be like daily content coming out like what we normally do. It'll just be Breakpoint videos. But I'm confident the alpha we will get, the research we will get, the opportunities we will share, like at Breakpoint and after Breakpoint, will be worth it. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.